In this video, we talk about HVAC, heating and cooling your homes, what you should know, how is it installed. That's starting right now.
Welcome to Home Buyers School, brought to you by Brookfield Residential.
Hi everyone, Carl Ye here, and welcome to another Home Buyer School video, a channel where you get the latest strategies, tactics, and tips from home buying experts. And remember, if this is your first time on this channel and you want to get the latest strategies from the experts, hit the subscription button below, hit the little notification bell so you don't miss anything. So today I'm joined by Kurt Gibson, Director of Field Operations with Brookfield Residential, and the topic we're going to cover today is HVAC in new home construction. So first of all, what is an HVAC?
Well, HVAC stands for heating, venting, and air conditioning in a home. So, I mean, it's essentially what drives the air quality in your home. I mean, whether if you're in a warm climate, obviously air conditioning is going to be more prevalent, and you're not likely going to need to try and find heat. In Calgary's climate, where we are, it's obviously colder, and we need to have air brought in or warm up the air in our houses. So.
And is HVAC considered part of a new home construction?
Absolutely it is. I mean, it's a key part of it. It's done, I mean, typically you see a house framed when you build your home. There's a rough-in stage, which is where you would do your electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. And HVAC is the metal piping that goes through the house where you drive a lot of the air through. Now, that's using a forced air system. There are other ones, but the forced air ones, typically when it's done, every home has to have some kind of an HVAC system in it for air quality.
So can you tell us a little bit more about how an HVAC actually works?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, I mean, from a simplest standpoint, you're basically taking outside air and bringing it in and converting that outside air into, what temperature you want within the home. Whether that's cooling it down, so if you're warm outside, it brings the air in and then brings it to a temperature that's reasonable in the house. If it's warmer or colder outside and you want warmer inside, it heats up the air and drives it through. And typically, what it's done is it's through a machine usually called a furnace or an air conditioner, and essentially what it does is blows the air through that and then circulates it through a house through vents. I mean, a lot of times you'll see the vents in your homes, and that's what blows the air in. And it's designed by a HVAC company. We take our drawings and we hand them off to them, whether it's a single family home or a multifamily unit. All of those get sent to a designer to look at, consultant, and review it and determine what the capacities are, how much venting there needs to be, what size furnaces there need to be to make sure that we have the right air quality.
Is there a common type of HVAC for new home builds or any type of build, or is it?
Well, the most common in Canada, obviously, is forced air furnaces.
Okay.
So we have furnaces that, it basically heats up, it brings out in that outside, through venting, it brings in the outside air and heats it to a reasonable temperature through your thermostat. That's what makes you adjust it, and then determines the air temperature throughout the house. So it really is just driving air throughout your home and giving you that temperature. So.
And can you tell me a little bit more about the process of the installation of the HVAC in your home?
You betcha. I mean, again, going back to what I talked about earlier, which is it's done at the rough-in stage. Again, it's done through ducting, metal ducting through the home, and those are sent to different locations. Most of the time, you will see a vent underneath the window, because that's the point where it's the coldest in your home, and that's where they locate it. And then that furnace, it goes back to the furnace, which is typically in Canada it would be in a basement. In some cases, if there is no basement, it'd probably be a garage or something like that.
So I know for my house, when I bought it, I've had my vents cleaned every, I think, year. Is that something like, so how would you repair or do some maintenance on your HVAC?
Well, I would say, first of all, if you're talking new home construction, those should be cleaned by your builder. We certainly take the time to make sure that ours are cleaned every time, because a lot of debris gets in them because it's built through construction. I agree with you. A great maintenance tip is to be able to get your furnace cleaned every year and clean it out. It's a great suggestion to be doing. So,
is there I know we talked about the Alberta new home warranty, which you can see in the video above, but is there like a cost for replacement if you find it's broken?
You're talking about whether furnaces are... well, I mean, certainly like anything, they typically have a lifespan. The average cost typically for a furnace would probably be in the $5,000 range. Again, if your ducting's in good shape and everything, it might be a little less than that. It really depends on the size of the house, the complexity of the house. Air conditioning would be in the same category. You'd be probably around that same amount. And again, depending on the complexity of the home. So,
are there, besides an HVAC, is there any other heating or cooling options that a new home buyer should consider?
For sure, there are Other alternatives, one of the best ones that I think that are out there is in-floor heating. You can either have it in your concrete floor, or you can have it through what they call a gypcrete, which can be put on main floors and second floors. It's a great way to do it. It's a little more expensive, obviously, but what it does is it causes or allows constant heat to every corner of the room and everything else, where forced air is typically coming just out of a vent. With that, you have to have a source to move the air around. Usually you have to have a heat recovery ventilator, or what they call HRV, and that just essentially is moving the air around, making sure your quality air is moving in the right way. But there's that one. I mean, there's back to the old basics, which is where thought it was built, was just baseboard heating and regular baseboard heating. And again, then you'd have to have proper fans to make sure that the air is circulating properly. So.
If you wanted your entire HVAC to be replaced, what are some costs associated with that?
Well, I mean, again, if you're tearing your house apart from a renovation standpoint, I mean, it could be, especially retrofitting, it could be 10 grand at least. I would guarantee it. New home construction, it's probably 5 grand is a standard. So it's a big difference. It's a lot of work, because essentially what you have to do is you have to tear all your walls and ceilings and everything apart to be able to get this all in. So,
and if part of the new home construction, the Alberta home warranty is if your HVAC is malfunctioning, your builder will replace it.
Totally. And again, going back to Alberta home warranty, there's a 1, a 2, a 5, and a 10-year program, and the 2 stands for there's a distribution system. So the Alberta home warranty program, or mandatory warranty program in Alberta, says distribution systems have to be covered for a minimum of 2 years if you buy a home in Alberta. So you're protected that way. Most manufacturers, certainly larger manufacturers, would probably cover the furnace part of it for longer than that, for sure. So.
Perfect. Do you have anything else to add?
I'm good.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
That's another edition of Homebuyer School. Tune in next time for more expert tips and tricks. And visit homebuyerschool.ca to bring you one step closer to finding your dream home. As with everything, it would be great if you like and share our videos. Also, please let us know if you have any home buying questions you want us to answer.